Hannah Kessler.
This gal started her own bank at the age of 18, and then you became a self-made millionaire by the age of 24?
I did.
Hannah Kessler is a money mentor.
She's known as the single millionaire chick.
With advice on how to stop living paycheck to paycheck.
Money. It starts with your mindset.
How you think about your money is going to greatly impact how much money that you have.
I grew up in a town called Olathe, Kansas. I'd be walking out of the door, going to school, and my mama would holler at me, "Hannah, make good choices." And I'd have to holler back, "Because the choices I make today will affect my future."
My parents, they did a very good job about teaching me as a child how to handle my money.
We have a lack of understanding when it comes to money.
If you want your kids to have money, you need to start talking to them about it while they're young.
I'm really second generation to this concept that's called the infinite banking concept.
And at 18 years old, my dad gave me the choice to start my own bank that then led me to becoming a millionaire by the time I was 24.
Now you've written a book to help tie it all together.
So the companion is really just teaching kids that, not specifically money, but really important life lessons.
Now being the owner of the Money Multiplier, I help serve over 17,000 clients in every state of the country.
Where can people get the book?
HannahKessler.com. Hannah spelled the same way forwards and backwards, Kessler with one S.
Also, I got my podcast show, the Money Multiplier Podcast.
And make good choices today, because the choices you make today will affect your future. Good morning, my friends. How are we doing? I am back at home. We are headed actually to Indianapolis today. Indy, baby, I'm coming to you. So I've been on the road. Been a lot going on. All right, here's a little catch up in the life of Hannah. And by the way, you can catch my vlogs on my YouTube channel, my personal YouTube channel. Just search up my name, Hannah Kessler. And you can see like my monthly vlogs and stuff that I've been doing outside of the business because, hey, money doesn't dictate my time. That's what we're all after is time freedom, location freedom. But we've been on the road. I was in Scottsdale. Then we went to Austin, Texas. Then Boulder, Colorado. Ended my travels in Cape Coral, Florida. Went back home. And then shout out Sadie. All right. If y'all are members of the Money Multiplier, you may have worked with Sadie. She's on our application team. She's one of my best girlfriends, been best friends for the last 12 years. And my girl got married this past weekend. Oh, it was so much fun. And I was maid of honor. Let me tell you, when you're maid of honor, it's like you are planning your own wedding too. It was a lot of responsibilities, but I was very excited that Sadie did ask me to be her maid of honor, and I was there celebrating with her and her husband now, Jimmy. Wow, that's kind of weird to say. Jimmy, you ain't no boyfriend, you ain't no fiance anymore. You're a husband now. And Sadie, you're a wife now. How freaking cute. I'm at that stage in my life where all of my friends are either getting married or popping out babies, or maybe they're like myself and not going to get married, have babies till like we're in our 30s. Okay, I'm living my life right now. So I had that this past weekend. My other best girlfriend, Mads, she was in town. She just came back from overseas. So shout out Maddie too. She's doing a lot of cool stuff. She's been posted up in Asia, getting her dive masters, teaching other people how to get their dive certification and all that. So she was in town. She's helping me watch the cats. She's going to come back in a few days because then next week we go to Puerto Rico. So just lots of back-to-back travel. But then later on this month, it's going to be chill. We're going to be at home and we can kind of do some house stuff because there's some house stuff I want to do. I bought myself like new decorations. I really want some new bar stool chairs around like the island in my kitchen. It's just time. They're like squeaky. I just need to get some like, what is it called? W40, W240, whatever. I either need to get that, but they're not comfy. They're not comfy chairs. I want comfy chairs around my island. Anywho's, just I want to work on some house stuff for a little bit while we got a little bit of downtime. But what's kind of funny is that I set the intention of, a little bit less travel this year. However, I'm still kind of doing the same amount of travel, but it's more fun travel. And here's what I've noticed. The less I do, the more I make. The power of delegation. So I know as us business owners, you always want to take control. You think, oh, it's just going to be faster, easier if I do it. Or maybe you have the mindset that nobody can do it as great as I can. And, there's some truth in that. But if you continue to do all of the tasks within your business that you could truly delegate to somebody else, and trust me, it has taken me a long, long time to get here. I'm kind of a control freak. I'm a perfectionist. I got some OCD, undiagnosed OCD. So I get it. And there is truth that probably they can't do it to the extent that maybe you can do it. But if they get the job done and it's 80% accurate, 80% awesomeness work that they just did, start delegating, because then you're always going to continue to be self-employed within your business. And if your business cannot run without you, that ain't no freedom. So it's been a lot of growth being an entrepreneur, a lot of personal growth and spiritual growth and, just mindset growth in it's all itself too. But it's been a lot of fun. We got to go through some of those struggles to get to the place of where we're truly meant to be, and God or the higher ups and whoever you believe in, just to get you to that full power of, your heroism, if you will, and what is your true strengths. Because I can tell you one thing about me is what I've learned. I ain't no people manager. I suck at managing people. I am a producer. I'm a salesperson. I know how to run my mouth. And so I am on the forefront. That's what I excel at. And then I have the people in the back line or the downline, if you will, that help support the business. And I said the word downline. Let me add some clarity to that, because, even over here at the Money Multiplier, we don't look at anything like it's a hierarchy. Okay, the CEO or the owner is at the top and then everybody else is below them. No. It's an assembly line. Like, I cannot do my job without the application team. The application team cannot do their job without me. The implementation team cannot do their job without me or the application team. So everybody is just in alignment and nobody can succeed without the other department, if you will. So it's just very important to, always create that culture around the business as well. I don't know how I got off on that tangent. That's not what I want to talk about today. But good morning. It's good to see all of y'all. I had a great conversation with a longtime client. And long time to the point that he's been hanging around for the last 3 to 4 years. We actually met this individual. Let's give him a name. I'm not going to use his real name. Let's call him Samuel. All right. Sam has been around for some time. He actually met us when Dad and I were speaking at a local REIA, REIA, the Real Estate Investors Association. They're all around the country. So just FYI, if you are interested in real estate, want to get connected with the community or your network, look up your local REIAs. That's a great place to meet people. But we met him there when we were doing a presentation out there, and he just got it. All right. So he started his first policy. He started off small. A lot of people do that. They start off small, testing the waters out, seeing if this stuff actually is true. And then from there, he started his second policy. Then he started 2 policies on his wife, and he's got 3 kiddos, and he owns policies on all 3 of them. So as of current, he has 7 policies within his family banking system. And I'm telling you, if you want it, you can have it and you can thrive with it. But he said this yesterday on our call, and I thought it was very important to bring up. And I wrote it on my little handy dandy sticky note. I'm a sticky note queen over here. You should see my office. But he goes, quote, "Our velocity of our policies happened so fast. We started small, but then we really ramped it up. So up to this point, as I mentioned, he's got 7 policies and he's doing $150,000 a year in premium into those 2 policies. And him and his wife, they're high W-2 income earners. However, his wife just had their third child. Okay. The third child is 5.5 months old now. And she just went back to work. And there's been some changes at her company that she is just not vibing with from the time that she left on maternity leave. And she's miserable now. And so Samuel said, Hannah, I want to have a conversation because I want to figure this out, where what if my wife leaves her job and now we don't have that income that's coming in? I want to position myself so that I'm creating some passive monies coming in to sustain her income so that we can maintain our current lifestyle, and we can get to the place where let's give the wife a name, Amanda, that Amanda can leave and we have the income that's coming in, and now she can be happier, and now we can maybe even qualify for real estate professional status. Okay, that's a whole big tax strategy all on its own. But we had a good conversation about, hey, what should you be doing with your policies now? And right now, he's got some debts. And you should tune into my podcast episode later on this month. I think it gets released on the 28th of this month, where I get into the topic of good debt versus bad debt. Because quoting Robert Kiyosaki, debt equals tax-free money. If you understand leverage and you know how to leverage properly on assets, that debt could be a great, great tool for you. HELOCs, leveraging your whole life policy, leveraging credit cards even, okay? I mean, there's a lot of good ways that you can leverage good debt. And if you're smart or intentional, I should say, about it, you can create some more monies that are coming back to you. So a lot of the times, like, a big misconception is, well, Hannah, I'm going to need like $100,000 to start getting invested into something for it to actually make sense and worthwhile for me. No, you don't. No, you don't. As long as you understand leverage and good use of your borrowed money to go and place it to work and getting higher interest rates than what you have to pay the banker, pay your cash value life insurance policies back, it could be a great tool and good resource for you. So like right now, what he's doing is he's using his policies mainly to pay off some of these debts that he has. But I'm like, Samuel, you could be actually, instead of paying off some of those debts, you could actually use the capital that you have on hand and within your policies and go put that money to work for you. So here's an example, real life scenario in my life. I took out a bank loan on my Bronco when I bought it in November of 2023. Did I have the cash value in my policy just to pay that? What was it? I think it was like 65,000, I think is what it cost me. It was like 60 or 65,000. I can't remember right now, but it was definitely 60, but I think it was 65 grand is what I paid for the Bronco. And I had the cash value in my policy just to go pay it off directly, but I didn't want to do that because a priority for me right now, being youthful, 26 and a half years old, I don't have a long credit history. And so I wanted to build up the credit. That was important to me. So that's why I wanted this bank loan. But then also I ran the numbers, and it makes more sense for me to go use the capital in my policies to go buy myself those investments, those cash flowing assets. And then every month when I'm getting those interest checks, if I'm doing private lending, or the checks from my 2 new rentals now, that cash flow is now paying my monthly payment for the Bronco. So then I'm not just sucking in all of my liquid cash into this depreciating asset. You see what I'm saying? So if you understand the cash flow game and you understand good debt and how to leverage it and being disciplined with yourself, it's game changer. And so we're having those conversations right now where, you know, on some things he's going to put a pause on paying off the debts, and on others he's going to continue to pay some of those debts, like some of like the higher cash flow that's going out on some of these debts. Like he's got like a watch that he loves, you know, but like, dude, you're paying a lot of money monthly on this expensive watch. Like, come on, let's maybe get that one out of here. But and watches, if you're in that whole world, like Devin Burr on our team is, I'm personally not. I'm not into like the jewelry and art and collectibles at this point in my life, but he is, and this Samuel individual is as well. It's an asset. I mean, watches, depending on the brand, what it is, I mean, they appreciate. It's even like designer luxury items and luxury bags or shoes or whatever, you know. It could really be an appreciating asset for them, depending on where that goes in the marketplace and what the marketplace is going to value on it. But one thing that I wanted to bring up is that he went in there and he actually has a family constitution backing all of his policies, literally creating his own family bank. And so when his kids get older, or even his wife, Amanda, when they're financing transactions through life, they have it written down in the rule book of what the family bank can finance. What is the interest rate going to be to the family bank? What does that borrower of the family need to show to the family bank to allow the family bank to even want to issue out this loan to them? You know, do you have a business plan in place? Do you have a way to start paying back the family bank immediately? How are you going to be doing that? So he's truly creating this system and this mindset with his family to be smarter with their cash and with their capital. And oh man, I asked him yesterday. I think he told me, because I said, Samuel, how old are you now? I want to say he's 36. So he's a young guy. He's a young gentleman, really setting himself up and his family up for success, that they no longer have to rely on other traditional financial institutions if they don't want to. So I'm just saying, this stuff is so freaking powerful. And when people truly get it, they got it. I talked to another gal last week, another one of my clients. She's starting her 7th policy now. And again, once they got it, they get it, right? And they're continuing to expand and build. And that's why, like, even the insurance companies, you know, if you, as a money mentor, is what we call ourselves over here at the Money Multiplier, like as a money mentor or as an agent, okay, teaching the infinite banking concept, if you do it properly and you continue to educate your community and educate your in-force people and policies that you do have, they do not quit. Okay. People do not quit this policy. They do not quit this system. And that's why the insurance companies love our business, because once somebody starts, they do not stop. And they love that because it's a win-win scenario. Oh my goodness. Let's talk about win-win for a second. I've been thinking about win-win a lot recently. But it's a win-win scenario because the insurance company, they know that these premiums are going to continue to come in. They're able to use that income and that influx of capital to go and invest in their own portfolios, so that then they're beefing up their portfolio, thus beefing up the dividends that they are paying back to their policyholders, which, FYI, this past week's episode on the Money Multiplier podcast, I brought in a home office official from One America talking about how dividends are calculated. So if you're kind of like an analytical, love that sort of stuff, go and check out that podcast episode. But you're in this marriage with the insurance company that, hey, if I continue to pay premiums, I pay my loan interest, I continue to capitalize with the insurance company, it's a win-win, because now higher dividends, stronger death benefit potentially as time goes on, because how dividends are paid into the policy is it's buying us more paid up addition premium, thus showing up as cash value in the policy because it buys us death benefits each and every year, paid up death benefit. So this velocity of the money, it can happen literally like overnight. Like it kind of feels like a little slow the first 2 years, because starting the policy is almost like starting a business from scratch, right? Year 1 and year 2, you ain't breaking even yet within this business or within this policy. But by year 3 and 4, now you're breaking even. And then every year after that, the growth in the policy or the profits from this business are greater and greater than what I put into it that year as my premium deposit, or capitalizing my policy, or capitalizing my business. And that's where I make the joke. Hey, if you knew that your business were to guarantee to operate this way, how many of these businesses would you want in your lifetime? Okay, without the bitching and belly aching of employees and overhead costs of offices and staff and insurance and payroll and blah, 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 right? But to go back to like the win-win scenario, I struggle with people who have, lack of better words, just a negative mindset when it comes to money conversations and even investing, that they think, oh, in order for somebody else to win, I have to lose. Or for me to win, somebody else has to lose. And I've talked about this here on this show with Money Mornings with Hannah before, but that's not a true scenario. I mean, truly, if it's a good deal, everybody is going to come out on top in a win-win situation. And if it's not a win-win situation, it probably ain't a good deal. But I will say this too, you know, when you are negotiating, like, let's say like business acquisitions, you know, buying businesses and companies, if both people come out just a little bit unhappy, there was some compromise, they got the job done, everybody's good with the deal, but they're a little bit unhappy that they didn't get everything 100% of what they wanted, it's a good deal. I learned that one from my father. But we're going to get deeper into like win-win scenarios and like investing and different things, which, by the way, if you missed Tampa, in Tampa, I brought out all of those different asset classes and the experts in that field: oil and gas, private lending, note investing, turnkey rentals, stock options trading. I was talking a lot about the infinite banking concept, you know. Those recordings are posted out. If you want to purchase the Tampa recordings, just send me an email, hannah@themoneymultiplier.com, and I'll show you exactly how to go and snag those. But if you are at that point in your life where you're like, all right, I'm getting here where I don't want to continue to work, I don't want to continue to have my 9 to 5, I'm maybe thinking about my retirement years, I just want to really truly take my time freedom back, you need to start looking deeper into cash flow versus the cash accumulation that you've been taught up to this point of just hoarding money in some place, and then in the future you'll just start taking out from that bucket of capital to go fund your lifestyle. In my opinion, I think cash flow is more important. How can I go put my little green men to work for me, create an army of green men that are out there working, and then I can take back the time freedom and location freedom for myself. That's essentially what we're all after. So that was really like the pivotal mindset, like in our family, when Brent got out of the chiropractic days, because he's like, dude, I just don't want to clock into the office today. Like I'm not feeling it today. So I just want to wake up. This, by the way, ADD, this, by the way, was my mantra this week. I actually texted it to the family group chat. Hold on. Let me find it. Kessler Kids. Okay, by the way, which was so funny. This is the family group chat. We were comparing credit scores last night. That's our family group chat. But I texted the fam on Monday and I said, my mantra today, I am creating a life where I wake up and don't care what day of the week it is. Happy Monday, fam. Let's get it. So seriously, I mean, like, I want to wake up and like literally think to myself, okay, what day of the week is it? Like, I don't know. I've just been having fun doing what I want to do over here. So what day of the week is it? Where are we at? So anyways, a lot of fun stuff going on. Really the message I just wanted to talk about, like with this real life case study with Samuel and Amanda, is that they didn't build up this banking system overnight. Remember, they started with one policy, then they graduated, started a second one. Hannah, why do we start multiple policies? Well, because you can't just go into an already in force policy and quote unquote just increase the premiums. So that's why they started additional policies as time went on. But it truly starts going fast, because think about it, y'all. We're here in May. Can you believe that? Already, we're here in May. It just seems like yesterday was February and I was traveling around in my van. Time is going to pass no matter what. And it's up to you whether you want to take that time and have the compounding interest on your side versus waiting. I got somebody else in my text messages right now. I've talked to her so many times. Here's a new term for y'all. Ask holes. That's bad. I'm sorry, but I'm just being blunt. Ask holes. ASKWHOLES. ASKHOLES. Sorry, failed grammar. But ask holes is a new term that I've been using. There are a lot of you who are ask holes. You ask all of these different questions. You run through all of the perfect and different scenarios, and then you never take action with any of the information. So when I start having the conversations, I'm still here. I do free conversations and consultations with folks. But if you start getting to the point where you're an ask hole, other people want my time who actually pay me and who actually start policies with me. Yeah, my going rate is $500 an hour now. Here's my Zelle link. Pay me the $500, and then we'll get a time scheduled on a calendar. So you cannot allow people to dictate your time. And my people who are ask holes, why are you waiting? What do you feel fearful of? You got to get in the pool in order to learn how to swim. Start putting on your floaties. Let's start walking into the shallow end, and then we'll make our way into the deep end. But I think it's fear. I think it's scarcity mindset, fear of failure. I think failing is one of the best learning lessons that we can ever have for ourselves, personal-wise, business-wise. And you just got to do it, dude. You just got to get started. Doesn't matter how you start. It only matters how you finish. This is the game of life. And so time is going to pass anyways. And so she's been in my text messages yet again, 2 years later, talking. Oh yeah, I'm ready to start now. I'm ready to start now. Okay, girl, I'm here. Didn't change my phone number. I'm still here when you're ready. This next time, I'm going to start implementing my rule of you're paying me my hourly rate of $500 an hour. I mean, you just got to do that. You got to be disciplined with people, or they're going to run your calendar, run your time. And that's where I had an experience a lot of burnout the last 2 years. You know what? I have not been experiencing burnout this year because I am not letting other people dictate my time and how I'm spending my time. I'm in control of my time. This is my life. This ain't your life. This is my life. And I get to choose whether I want to meet with you at this time, this date, or not. Anyways, lots of tangents today. I'm sorry, y'all. Welcome back to the show. Anywho's, but that velocity of the money, right? It really gets into time is going to be on your side. And do you want to be on the right side of compound interest, or do you want to be on the wrong side of compound interest? Because again, the time is going to pass. I've shared it before, like even with Dad, when he wanted to be a chiropractor, he was 32 years old, and it was going to take him 8 years to go through the chiropractic college, pass the board exams, and so that he could truly open up the office and then actually start making money so that he can run the business and start treating patients. And he goes to Mom and says, Terry, I'm 32 years old right now. once I finish chiropractic college, I'm going to be 36, 38. Do I really want to go on this adventure to start this business right now? And mom turns to him and says, well, Brent, if you don't go to chiropractic college, you're still going to be 38 years old. So what do you want to do? Do you want to be 38, having a chiropractic degree, if you will, and running the office and treating patients? Or do you want to be 38 doing what you're doing, being a grocery store manager here in St. Louis, Missouri? Choice is yours. Time's going to pass anyways. Time is the only resource you can't get back. You can always make more money, buy more things, but it's the time. Time is the only resource you can't get back. And sometimes even relationships, now that I think about it, sometimes if you really screw up and you burn a bridge, now that relationship's out the door too. I guess relationships you kind of add is like another resource that you can't get back. I'll put a little asterisk next to that one. But that, wait, and I had one more thing I wanted to talk about, and then I got to get out the door. I got to go head out to the airport. There's one more thing I wanted to bring to, oh, yes. All right, I wanted to talk about Samuel and his family, what he's doing. But a question that came up this past week, and maybe we can get deeper into this next week as well, but children-owned policies, okay? Just real quick, let's talk about it. In my opinion, I believe it's best to start with the matriarch and the patriarch of the family first. When creating your own banking system, starting these whole life policies designed for high immediate cash value, start with the matriarch and patriarch of the family first. Because in the end of it, as history has it, mom and dad are supposed to pass before the children. And I want to see that death benefit get paid out to the children. So I'm not saying that you can't do the entire family at the same point in time, but if I had a preference, I had to choose, start with mom and dad first and then go to the downline of the kids. This kind of got into the conversation of, well, Hannah, do you think then me being a 40-year-old individual, my mom right now is 75. At 75, can she still own policies? Or yes, she can always own policies, but will the insurance company allow the death benefit on her body being 75 years old? Yes. Okay. So FYI, depending on the insurance companies, like I do business with 6 different companies, but depending on the company, the cutoff date for whole life policies and to qualify for it is between 80 and 85. Okay. Some companies cut it off at 80, some at 85. And he goes, well, could I maybe put this policy on my mom? I know it sounds a little morbid, but mom's going to pass before me. I can still use the cash value. Everything's going to be the same exact way from the cash value standpoint of the policy. And then now she's got the death benefit, and then I want to get paid out that death benefit at the time of her passing. You could. Now there's some stipulations around there. You know, you have to create that insurable interest to the underwriter of that insurance company of why you, a 40-year-old person who's not living at home, has their own family, you not being financially dependent on your mother. What's the insurable interest there of why you need to have death benefit on her? You know, and so that's kind of where I come in as I paint the story and paint the picture for the underwriter to allow us to do that. But you could, okay, you could literally own a policy on your parents who are in their 70s. Just a thought. And even my minor kids, yeah, you can put a policy on your children. Just like Samuel here, he owns policies on all 3 of his kids. And when the baby popped out 5.5 months ago, he hit me up and said, hey, we had a new baby and I want to start a policy on them. And I said, okay, did the Social Security number come through the mail yet? Once we have the Social Security number, then you can put the policy on them. So it's truly just building up and honestly too, like protecting the insurability of the children. You know, you never know what's going to happen, or diseases, diagnosis, cancers that could come in. And now that person can no longer qualify for the policy in the future. It's important to protect that insurability on your body. It's a privilege to own life insurance. It's not a right to own life insurance. It's truly a privilege. So be blessed when you get approved. That's why I always congratulate y'all, my clients, when you guys get approved for your policy. I'm like, congrats, the insurance company's found you healthy. Keep doing what you're doing, you know? And no, you know, like that's maybe like fear that some people have just because they're not in this world day in and day out like I am. But if you're just that average Joe type of person, you'll be fine. You can qualify for a policy. My folks who have type 2 diabetes, as long as your A1C is at a level 7 or below. Actually, I just got a client approved. A1C was at a 9. And I was like, whoa, that's awesome. But kind of standard, like they kind of want to see it at a level 7. You know, if you had cancer in the past, you know, as long as you've been 5 years cancer-free date, no flare-ups, anything else, depending on the cancer, let me add, you know, you can truly qualify for policy. So it's just important just to hop on the phone with somebody, you know, don't try and do all this guesswork by yourself. That's why Samuel wanted to have this conversation with me. Because I always say, you know, love me or hate me, but once you start this journey with me, we're going to be lifelong friends from here on out. Okay. And he just wanted to, I don't like using the word pick my brain. I need to find a better definition for that, but pick my brain, for lack of better words, on what he was doing and how can he continue to expand and build if his wife Amanda does want to leave her job. And you know, even with the incorporating the children policies, because he hasn't used any of the cash value from his kids' policies quite yet. You know, he's just never had the opportunity to, and he's kind of looking at it as like a forced savings for like future necessities, if you will, for kids, like first car, private school tuition, maybe, blah, 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 because you can use the cash value in your policy for literally anything. But you can. Now here's the stipulation though on kiddos. Assuming that you, the parent, are insurable. Hold on, let me sip my coffee. Assuming you, the parent, are insurable. You, the parent, have to have some form of death benefit on your body if you're going to put this policy on a minor, a juvenile. And juvenile, in my definition, is anybody who's still dependent of you. Okay, it kind of gets a little gray area when you get to like those 19 to like 24-year-olds, if you will. You know, hey, are you still living at home? Are you dependent of your parents? Are you actively working? Are you going to college? Blah, blah, blah. But for your dependents, if you're trying to put a policy on them, the insurance companies are going to want to see you having death benefit on your body first. Okay, assuming that you are insurable. There's some little guidelines there if you are classified as uninsurable, right? There's some ways that we can get around it. But if you are insurable, the insurance company is going to want you to have double the amount of death benefit on your body that then you have on the kids. So here's kind of like normal guidelines. Now there's one company that's a little bit different. Okay, Mass Mutual is a company we do business with as well. They're a little bit different. I'll talk about them in a second. But 5 of the 6, they say, hey, the child can qualify up to half of the amount of death benefit as what mom or dad have on their body. So whoever the greater insured parent is, let's use my example of Samuel and Amanda. Let's say that Samuel has $2 million of death benefit and Amanda has $1 million of death benefit on her body. So the greater insured parent is Samuel. So the insurance company is going to base it off of Samuel. Now, the child or the children can have half of the coverage that Samuel has. So he's got $2 million. Half of that is $1 million. The children can qualify up to $1 million of death benefit at this time. And you just got to understand like the rules and the guidelines there. So again, you know, you're going to have to go through some agent to get this policy anyways, even if you just call directly into Mass Mutual or Guardian or One America or Security Mutual, Lafayette, Ameritas, you know, even if you just call directly into them, you're going to have to go through some agent to set up the policy for you. So just you know, make sure that person's competent. Can I say that? I believe they should be a qualified IBC practitioner. Okay. I say it all the time. If you don't like me, don't like my vibe, you don't want to come over here with me, just make sure they are certified NNI practitioner with the Nelson Nash Institute. But you can, so I was thinking about children policies because I had a phone call on Monday. Client was just approved for his policy, and he was asking questions about him putting the policy on his mom, and he's in his 40s, right? So I said, you know what, that's a good topic. Let's just bring it up and have a conversation around it. But really, that's all my thoughts today. Like, I just wanted to bring all up to speed, talking about what I've been doing over here, truly what other people are doing with their policies as well. Bringing y'all more case studies. I know some of you are like, well, Hannah, I really want to break down the numbers. How is he paying that premium? How is it going into those 7 different policies? How are his policies designed? Because truly his policies are designed either 40 base, 60 PUA and 35 base and 65 PUA. They're built for that base because he's in his 30s, he's 36 years old. That base is what's going to carry and sustain the cash value and the long-term growth of that policy. And he just, where he was at in life, that's why I wanted to design the policy that way. My first ever policy, because I was 18, dad designed it 60 base, 40 paid up additions. And at first I didn't understand why he designed it that way. And I was a little pissed. And I was like, what do you mean you designed it with lesser PUA premium? Come on, bro. I want my money. But now that I'm older and I understand more, I'm like, thank you, Pops, for doing that. So without further ado, I need to get going. I need to get on the road. Please comment what topics you want me to get in. I got a long list of topics that I can continue to talk about, but I want to know what you guys want, because that's why I'm here doing this show. Tell me what y'all are wanting. Do you want more case studies? Do you want me to run through your scenario and use like a fictitious name? I can always do that. Oh, I was going to do that with, let's give her a fake name. Linda, we'll call her. I actually was going to do that with Linda here. I also have another guy. Let's call him Andy. Okay. Andy, I spoke with about 2 weeks ago. He's a real estate investor doing some stuff. So I want to bring more case studies to y'all. So I got you. And any specific questions, like if you want me to get deeper into logistics behind the policies, you want to get deeper into PUA, cash value, death benefit, how's that all calculated, blah, 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 blah. I mean, we can get into it. All right. We can even start talking about different investments. I can bring Courtney on. We can talk about depreciation when it comes to oil and gas investing. We can get deeper into taxes, estate planning. Maybe we do like a whole conversation of you building your own family constitution. Just some ideas. So please tell me what y'all are wanting. Leave a comment here on the episode, or you can send me an email, hannah@themoneymultiplier.com. And if you have existing policies, you want me to review them, you want my feedback on it, send the in-force illustrations to my email. And if it's been a little bit and you have not seen our presentation, you can go to themoneymultiplier.com/presentation, get deep into the infinite banking concept, see how it works and how it's going to fit in your life. And then we can have a one-on-one conversation together. But until then, make good choices today, as Mama TK says, because the choices you make today will affect your future. All right. I love y'all. Be well, do good. Okay. I will catch y'all next week, next Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Mwah. Bye, everyone.